I was told that we don't have mics, so we've got to project. My mother tells me I have a soft voice, and she has trouble hearing me. I didn't have the heart to tell her it's probably not my soft voice, but we'll try to project as best we can. Also, please watch out for the cords if you're walking by there. And other than that, the cards are on the table. I have a few questions. If you think of something, please grab a card, write it down, and we'll try to fit it in tonight in amongst the discussion we have tonight. So without further ado, we'll get going. All right, we'll start. This is the town council, and we'll just, if it's all right, well, what I'll do, I think we'll try to rotate, alternate. I remember last year, you know, by the time the last person got to talk, it was sort of like, well, it's all been said, most of it. So we'll try to rotate whoever starts on each question as we go forward. You guys can help keep me honest on that. First of all, just on this one, let's start with Ralph, and if you would just, a little bit about yourself. They have a bio, but just a couple minutes about yourself and why you're seeking your position.
Sure, thank you, and good evening, and thank you all for coming out tonight. It's important and pleasurable to see that you're engaging with your town government. I also would like to thank the Congregational Church for the facilities and the Brown Hall Committee for hosting the event, and especially Catherine Ring. And I'd like to thank the moderator, Mark Carmichael. My name is Ralph Chapman. I have about 14 years of experience as an elected official. 8 of those were in the Maine State Legislature. 6 of those were on the Brooksville Budget Advisory Committee. I currently chair the Bucksport Community Resilience Committee. We're working on trying to get some grant monies to do some things that would be helpful to people in town. And I've attended most of the council meetings for the past 2 years. So that's the quick story of who I am. I do have some cards that I'll be circulating, I'll have available afterwards that has my phone number on it. Please give me a call if you have any questions. I'm happy to discuss any matters of interest to you.
Thank you.
How's that?
Very good, thank you. Stephen St. Peter.
Okay, here we go. My name is Stephen St. Peter Jr. I've been a resident of Bucksport since 1984. I moved here when I was 8. I have mild cerebral palsy, and I believe that someone with disabilities could be a good asset to the town council. I'm also a climate advocate. I love this town, and I'd like to see it prosper. I'd like to see more amazing businesses come to Bucksport. I want to see more energy efficient, low cost housing for these people that definitely deserve their first home, or retirees that need a low cost alternative to these big townhouses. I hope I get your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Next, Ed Rankin Jr.
Hello, I'm Ed Rankin, Jr., 95 graduate, Bucksport High School. My wife Jen and I live here in town. I've got a business, Ed's Automotive, out on Route 46. I've been on the council for 2 terms now, so I'm going for my 3rd term. And I want to see it through. We've got a new town manager who's got a lot of potential, but he needs help from an experienced council. And there's going to be a lot of obstacles in the next couple of years in the town, budget-wise and many other things. And we think we just need some experience to get through it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. And last but not least, Terry Doty.
Hi, I'm Terry Doty. I'm the director for the Bucksport Bay Business Coalition, and I do a variety of community events for the town and around. And I raise money for the animal shelters, and we've been living here for about 11 years from California. Moved here and love it. Okay.
Thank you. All right, we'll start first question, and I'll bounce in between what I have and then some questions from the audience. First question, we'll start with you, Ralph. What principles or criteria do you use in your decision making when balancing community interests? What will you bring as a counselor, just sort of a background in balancing all community interests?
Sure. So I like to concentrate on the future, and the future of our town are our young people who are here now. And that's what I think we have to continually focus our attentions on. They don't vote. The people that I'm speaking of can't vote for any of us. They're not old enough yet, but they are the ones that I put the highest priority on. And quite frankly, I believe that elected offices are public servant offices. That is to say, it's my job as an elected official to represent the interests of everyone in town. And that's what I would hope to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen?
All right, so rephrase the question?
Yeah, what principles or guidelines will help you in your decision-making as a member of the council and balancing community interests?
All right, so I have a lot of experience doing electric car work, helping people find their electric cars. I'd like to help people find a better climate situation, like solar panels, power generation, and then also in that regard, maybe possibly bring clean energy jobs to the area, which is a workforce that will pay good, that will give good money, that will help people, make good money for their families. So,
Thank you. Same question, Ed?
To balance it out, you gotta consider everything and everyone. Like right now, you got an issue with making sure the young kids, like Ralph said, keeping them, giving them everything they need and keeping them in town hopefully someday, or at least let them go out, experience life and come back one way or the other. But we also need to, Bucksport has a high percentage of seniors in this town, and we need to look after them and make sure that they can stay in their homes. And their pension or Social Security is fixed and it doesn't change much. And the past 5 years of inflation, if you want to call it inflation, it's a little more than inflation. It's gone insane. So to balance that all out, between my garage and all the kids coming through school and what work we've done on the council, I try to take every single perspective into consideration. That's the best I can do.
Thank you.
Is it okay if I sit? I'm afraid I'm gonna roll an ankle.
Sure.
What I would like to do, I just want to get a handle on the debt that the town has while continuing bringing in a variety of community events that bring outside people, visitors from afar, to generate money and just make Bucksport a to-go to place when everybody vacations. They're always going to Bar Harbor and stuff. I want to do something that is going to be just eye-catching and just take care of the people, and the property taxes are just, it's horrendous. It's horrendous, especially with the seniors and stuff. They're afraid that they're gonna lose their home. So I'd like to do something with that to help the people.
Thank you, Karen. We'll start this round, a question from the audience. Ed, I'll start with you on this one. And sort of in line with a part of your answer, Terry, is what are your thoughts, ideas, plans to increase tax revenue by increasing business in Bucksport so as to reduce the tax burden on homeowners?
Well, as you know, there's always discussions. I mean, right now, I believe there's 3 or 4 businesses open in the community of Bucksport, but we don't discuss them because right now it'd just be rumor, because it's just that, it's discussion. Until something's actually signed, we're not going to discuss it. But us as a council, I think we've done a lot, not just the council. You've got a economic director, Rich Rotella, town manager. There's been so many instances where they've bent over backwards to help businesses with applications, permits, any information required. We just need to keep working with these businesses and make it appealing. We'd love something to come into the whole Oceans property, but we can help and suggest and give them all the information we can, but we don't know. It's their property. All we can do is help.
Thank you. Stephen?
Yeah, and I hate to bring this up, but I think that we need to really think about bringing national chains into Bucksport, because I think that will help somewhat with the taxes. And I've been thinking about that for the past few weeks, what would help. And something like LL Bean or like Martin's or whatever, and maybe even bring in some healthcare facilities, like someone suggested, that we need some healthcare facilities, like people that are recovering from injuries, drug addiction, homelessness. We need to really bring in stuff that will bring the workforce here to Bucksport. And also I'd like to see possibly more clean energy stuff coming to Bucksport to help, bring the young families here, professionals that are looking to settle down in a nice coastal town.
Terry, you sort of alluded to a few of the things, I think, in your first answer. Do you want to add?
Yeah,
more to the discussion?
I don't think Bucksport would be good with box stores, big chains. People like living here because it's small town charm. Bring in new businesses, that we definitely have to do, and I think even doing small things like cutting red tape, for instance, if somebody can't establish a quorum, and I'm just going to use the planning board, or something, we have to wait until like the next month, so that delays things. So if they can't establish a quorum, then instead of doing it the next month, maybe do it the next week or within the same month, just to keep things going. More businesses, more money, and that sort of thing. And as far as property taxes, I'd like to see about having a property tax cap on seniors at 70. It doesn't get higher for them.
Rob?
Well, Bucksport is a caring community, and what's attractive to both people and businesses is that it has a quality of life that is enviable. It's got a great location with respect to other cities around us. So it has a lot of opportunity. I think that it's important to recognize that a severe limitation that we have at the moment is affordable housing, and that directly relates to the ability of people that are in the workforce to be here close to where we want the businesses to be attracted. So the attractiveness of the town, we know what some of those elements are, and we have to promote them and solve some of the problems that are in the way.
And along those lines, Terry, you mentioned red tape as one. Are there any things that you can think of that, as you mentioned, it's difficult for the town to convince a business if they're here not to come or to come? But is there anything any of you can think of that the town could be doing more of or doing better to either make it more acceptable for businesses to come in, easier to do business, or even just residents to move to Bucksport? Thoughts on that, Stephen? Let's start with you for that question.
Okay, so tell me the question.
Anything that the town council can do is, if you're going to be on the town council, what you can do to make it more attractive for people to move here, but also along the lines of maybe reducing red tape, or anything you can think of that would help promote more businesses.
Well, okay, the red tape right here, good suggestion. We need to, I'm trying to think of what I want to say. I think that we need to allow as many businesses as we can in town, like car dealerships and stores and stuff like that. We need to allow as much as we can, because I know we've had some restrictions in the past, so.
Okay. Thank you, Stephen. Ed, you've got the experiences. I was there with you, so I know a little bit about what you're going through. Any thoughts? Any more thoughts on your, from your perspective?
A big one that's gonna attract businesses is holding on to what we have. Businesses, by general, want services. They want police, they want fire, they want good schools for employees, if they're gonna bring a business here. As far as box stores, I don't see that working. I don't believe Bucksport has the housing or the infrastructure to handle that, but we've got a great town and great services, and there is a lot of businesses that are interested. It's just whether it works out for their particular business. But again, I already said this, but there's so much that the council and the employees of the town do for businesses that you don't see. They're rich. If you ever see him during a workday, you'll see him running around like a chicken with his head cut off. And he's not the only one. There's many people. Luke Chiavelli, our code enforcement officer, goes above and beyond. So we need to just continue and keep our department strong and help as much as possible.
Thank you. Well,
Well, surely, I appreciate these prior comments. Quality education is very attractive to both people moving in as well as for businesses. And I think that Bucksport residents should really take a moment to recognize what a fabulous school system we have. The cost per pupil is less than the state average. The outcomes are better than the state average. And we're getting a good value for the expenses that are going into the school. I think that that's something that is one of the gems of the town. We've lost a communication piece. The demise of the enterprise has left a vacuum, a hole, a big hole in town. We need immediately to help the intercommunications around the town. The town council needs a better way to communicate with the residents. We need to be sure that we can all talk to each other and know what's happening.
thank you, Ralph. Terry, do you want to add any more?
Well, businesses, what they want to see is foot traffic going in, and unless there's a draw to Bucksport, they're not going to see that and want to open a business there. So there has to be some draw. Bucksport's kind of in a catch-22. They need the businesses, but they don't have the money to do any, well, I don't want to say events. They do Bay Festival and then there's Bucksport and stuff, but just something to keep them planted there. So if they don't see a lot of people, they're gonna say, well, why should we open it? There's nobody around.
Thank you. And along the lines of communication, I got a question. So do you believe the town should enhance its communications about upcoming votes such as tax policies, et cetera? Again, in line with enterprise not being here anymore. Is there anything that could be done in that area? Let me start, Carrie. I haven't started first with you, I don't think so.
So the town's website is the go-to place for information. It's not always up to date. People have their own jobs and they're spread thin, but that's a lot of it. So, but some of the seniors, they don't have access to a computer. They have a hard time getting around, so they can't go to the town council meetings. So, like with Emily's newsletter, if she could put like some key points that happened with the town council meeting, or even print it up and maybe stick it, post it in the senior center so they can get the information that way. You know, it's kind of limited. It's mostly geared towards the seniors and how they can get access to that stuff. Not everybody's got Facebook.
Thank you. Stephen?
Yeah, I agree with Terry 100%. Not everybody has internet here. Hive is awesome. Hi, Pops, by the way. We need to get the Hive everywhere. We can put it in the senior center, schools, everywhere we get it. Because maybe one of the parents will be, oh, there's the latest Hive, and oh, there's something going on, a meeting or something like that, or a vote, so.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yep.
Brett?
One of the new things in town is the use of a cell phone notification system. Its present use in town is for emergencies primarily. But I'm told that there can be enhancements to systems of that sort. They could allow residents to opt in or out of a variety of other types of distributed information by that notification system using cell phones. Now, that doesn't solve all of the problems, and certainly it doesn't help those that are more challenged by that type of technology, but that's certainly one area that we could improve upon.
Thank you. Ed?
We're looking at a lot of things. We're looking into a mass email chain that we can send out one message and it just automatically goes to anyone signed up to it. The emergency text notification that Ralph's referring to that's already in effect as long as you've signed up for it. Just the other day, town manager sent out a message, a non-emergency message, because we're allocated, don't quote me on the number, but I'm just gonna throw out 125, 150,000 texts per year, and we're gonna come nowhere near that for we hope we don't have that many emergencies. We're gonna utilize that, and on top of that, we're gonna try, we still need to figure out how and when, sending a mailer home of some sort, especially if it's an important update. We saw an example that the Searsport Town Council did before their tax increase, because they had a large jump. It was definitely the way to go. We should have thought ahead of time and done the same. But Emily, what you're doing has been great as well. I forget what you call it. The what?
The council part, the council
Yeah,
corner?
the council corner. Is that
Yeah,
what it's
yeah.
called? Yeah. That gave a little information of what happened at the town council meeting. All these little things are gonna help. We don't have the paper, and I don't foresee another paper coming to this town. I'd love to see it, but realistically, I don't see it. So.
Thank you. I guess about as many people that could get to council meetings as well would be helpful, right?
That's always helpful, and we fully understand that some people can't. And a lot of people do view from home, and some people still aren't aware that you can view from home. You can view any meeting live, or you can go back and watch. If you really don't value your time, you can watch it the past year.
Thank you. Here's probably a quick answers on this one, or maybe not, if you want to elaborate at all, but we'll start first with, let's see, Ed, we'll start first with you on this one. Is climate change real, and if so, is it caused by human behavior?
I don't think we can deny climate change not being real. It's real. What causes it? That's above my pay grade. I'm sure human behavior has a part of it. But
Thank you.
I can't give you a good answer because I'm a mechanic.
Thank you. Let's go with Terry.
I don't know anything about climate change. I don't think it's the sole reason for everything that's going on. People do play some part, but I don't think it's all of us. I mean, we're doing everything that we can. We're one of the most clean countries compared to the others, so.
Thank you. Ralph?
Well, I'm a scientist by career, a published scientist, so I know how to read the scientific literature, and the answer is yes and yes.
Thank you. And Stephen?
Oh, boy. So, I 120% believe in climate change. I've been studying it since I'm 8 years old. I've done extensive research on atmospheric asthma in newborns. I even wrote my own dissertation a while back there for fun. I did my own dissertation, I did the research. So 1 in 5 kids that are newborns are exposed to diesel and gas, and that's called atmospheric asthma. So yes, climate change is 120% real. We gotta fight climate change. We gotta find a way to reduce our carbon footprint. We gotta start driving more electric vehicles, more clean energy projects in this town in order to make the air a little sweeter for everybody, a little cleaner.
Thank you. And this question goes a little bit, we answered part of this on real estate taxes, but it also goes on to ask about the concept to have adequate apartments for the working class people built, so to provide a place for the young to live. So in general, a question about housing, it's been an issue for several years and will continue to be an issue. What are your thoughts on what, as a counselor, what the town can do to help promote more housing for all people in the town of Bucksport? And let's start with Stephen.
Okay, so we definitely need to look at something called co-housing. It's like a big apartment complex, but it's like houses and stuff like that combined into one big complex. I think that would do really well. Tiny houses as well. I think that would be fantastic for this town if we could get more use out of tiny houses and more energy efficient homes for people like myself with disabilities and senior citizens. They would probably love to get energy efficient apartments or townhouses or co-housing.
Thank you. Ralph?
Well, housing is a major issue, and it's a multifaceted problem. I know that the town council in the past year has tried to get a handle on the short-term rental, now we'll call it a problem. At the very least, to collect information about what the short-term rental market looks like and how many short-term rentals are being provided in town. The difficulty is if there are too many short-term rentals, that takes those living spaces out of the market for year-round living, full-time residents. I know that when that short-term rental ordinance was passed, paragraph was taken out of it at the request of one of the persons who came before the council from the public. That had to do with the fee structure, and I don't believe the council has finished putting that paragraph back in, perhaps with some modification. So that's one specific thing that is a piece of undone business that we need to take care of quickly.
Thank you. Karen?
So for the rentals, any tax acquired property or abandoned property, I say sell it for $20,000 on the condition that they have to turn it into a rental.
Thank you.
The hardest thing about affordable housing in big multi-units is if that's what we need. We have certain areas in town that would be ideal for it. But the market value of that land is so high that by the time they buy it, just throw out a number. If you buy it for $500,000, now you're going to build a $4 or $5 million building. The affordable housing's gone because you can't charge affordable rates. So that's a very tough one because we can't force people to sell their property cheap. We can't force them to build anything. It's their property. It's their choice. I like Terry's idea, 'cause we've talked about that before, but the problem we run into now is any tax acquired property has to be listed at fair market value through a realtor. And whatever is above and beyond what the town has owned needs to go back to the owner, 100%. Everything left over goes back to the owner. So we can't take that.
Thank you. I noticed that Ellsworth had an issue around that. They have a different, they were under a different community ordinance or law or something, and they kept the money in Ellsworth, so that must have been just a local, is that a local thing or a state?
No, that was due to the timing of when this new law went into effect. And that particular piece of property had been dealt with just prior to the new law.
Got it, okay, thank you.
Statewide.
To my knowledge, it's statewide.
Thank you. If promised a substantial financial package and assurances that environmental concerns would be observed, could you support the reopening of the landfill? And let's start with Ed.
Say that one more time.
Sure.
I'm gonna make sure I hear this one.
If there was a substantial financial package and assurances that environmental concerns would be observed, could you support the reopening of the landfill?
No, I can't support the opening of the landfill in any way, shape, or form.
And Terry?
No, you can't put a dollar amount on people's health.
Thank you. And Stephen?
Exactly, we're not gonna put our kids and our citizens at risk. I will never allow anything like that.
Ralph?
No, we're all in agreement on that. But it is the case that Bucksport is responsible for its solid waste. And unfortunately, even when we had some recycling efforts at the town transfer station, most of that recycled material, if not all of it, went to the Juniper Ridge landfill. The operation of the Juniper Ridge landfill is a terrible debacle. This is a statewide problem that has been ineffectively dealt with at the state level. We have to do something at the local level to do the best we can with solid waste. In terms of the private landfill that we've been trying to get closed for some time, folks have to know that the Department of Environmental Protection has known about the permit violations at that landfill for many years and has never initiated an enforcement action. The department only initiates 6 and half a dozen enforcement actions per year. And quite frankly, I think they're just scared of trying to do an enforcement with a billionaire-run foreign corporation that has a large legal department, and they have a history of suing towns much larger than Bucksport. So we're in a position of being bullied by a landfill owner, and just last Friday, the town mayor, on behalf of the town council and a number of us concerned citizens, did write a letter to the Department of Environmental Protection's commissioner, expressing our real interest that the department hold the company to the closure date that was last agreed upon. It's a serious mess, and it's more of us that understand the problem and can put our voices into getting the state agency to do what it ought to be doing, the better.
Thank you.
I'm sorry for going on so long, but you hit a sore spot.
So you're against the landfill?
Thank you for that. A couple of these are similar, and this may be a bit challenging, but is there anything the town councilors can do to help with the high cost of health insurance, especially if we lose the ACA subsidies? We all know health insurance is going up. I just read that Medicare premiums are going up 11.6%, I think, this year coming up. Sorry for the bad news. Now that I'm on Medicare, I'm concerned about it. I think we know generally around the country, medical premiums, health insurance premiums are going up substantially. Is there anything the town council can do to affect, help people with the high cost of health insurance? And we'll start with Ralph.
Obviously, this is a nationwide problem. It's a state problem. And so what can we do locally? And there are a few things that we can do. There are towns in our vicinity that have gone on record, either by their elected officials or by ballot questions that express in favor of an affordable universal health care system. There are bills every year in the state legislature. I testified on this particular issue this past legislative session. The bill did not make it out of committee, meaning not a single committee member voted in its favor. But with enough citizen pressure, with enough municipality pressure, we can exert additional influence on our state legislature to enable an affordable universal health care system for the state. And Maine did the bottle bill. We were the first in the nation to do that. We could be the first in the nation to actually get a grip on this healthcare crisis. And if you think it's a crisis today, wait until the end of the year. We don't know what's going to happen with the government shutdown, but everybody here, I think, knows that the government shutdown is hinged on this very question of what's going to happen to the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. And if the subsidies go away at the end of the year, then the health insurance premiums in many cases double. It's a serious problem.
Thank you, Ralph. Stephen?
I agree with Ralph, 100%.
And Ed?
It is a nationwide problem. As a council, going back to the question, I don't know how much a council could do to help with healthcare. The best I can think is, which we already do in a small fashion, is if people come to the town, either the councilors of the town office or the managers or whoever, and are in need of help, if we can't help them directly, we will put them in touch with the right organization that can help them with medical expenses or housing, home repairs, things like that. Maybe we could do better at that and do more of it, but other than that, I'm not sure what a council could do for healthcare expenses.
I don't know much about insurance, but I know taking preventative measures like eat healthy, get rid of all the garbage that people eat, makes them obese, diabetes and all that, and exercise, maybe that will help with the trip to the hospital or the doctor.
I mean, it kind of goes along with how many people have been to Portugal or Spain, but people walk everywhere. I know it's hard for us, but you see how that affects. And maybe recreation is one area that we can help, not reduce cost, but reduce incidents of poor health and downward. Along those lines, and I'm not sure that there's much that can be done, but I guess the question was somebody waiting a long time for a primary care physician to get in the local area. Do we have, in the town, have any influence on the health center or anything to do with, how they operate? I'm guessing not, but.
Like the walk-in clinics, were you talking about their average or what?
Just the ability to have more access to primary care physicians or more to influence them to provide more medical resources. I don't know exactly what that would be, but I'm guessing we don't.
I don't see how we legally could.
Yeah.
That would be like a strong arm.
Right.
We're not telling you, but we're telling you.
Yeah.
That might be part of my question. I just moved to town from Connecticut. I'm retired high school teacher. No, I will not sub for math and computer science. Anyway, I'm on a 1,200 person waiting list for a PCP. I have a member of my family that is a cancer patient. I can eat as healthy as I want, I can lose 1 billion pounds, but that doesn't matter. I need a primary care physician. Just to get my prescriptions refilled, I need a primary care physician. And if you want to attract new people to the area, there's 2 issues that I have. One, if I can't get basic health care, that's an issue. Number 2, I have Spectrum right now.
I was gonna get to that second part of the question.
To not have Spectrum right now. I taught computer science. I can tell you exactly why Spectrum's system is antiquated and not, if you have a ring system, I can hack you in about 3 minutes if you're using Spectrum because of the way that they set it up. It's
So
not safe.
let's go to that question on the internet. I know that's been around broadband, the whole internet for the town. Where do we stand right now in the town of Bucksport for fiber internet? And is there anything the council can do to help promote that? And let's start with you as a council member. You may have some knowledge that.
Well, like, I think, I'm no tech, but I believe like the Fidium style internet is, I believe, one of the fastest now. And you have Starlink in certain areas. I understand what you're saying about Spectrum. You're not the first person to say that. I've heard that before.
Well, it's horrible. And I mean, it's not, the bandwidth is not, if you want to attract businesses, you better have a better internet backbone than you have. You have good road structure, you're well connected to 2 major cities, you have a lot to offer. But if you don't have that internet backbone, businesses will not come here. Period.
And I forget the last time we updated that.
It's been, what, 3, 4 years, I think.
I think it's been longer than that, maybe 6 years.
And if their workers can't get health care, they're not moving.
But saying updated is a lot easier said than done when you're talking about a town's commitment, because that
I
is-
used to work for SAT, which was the Bell equivalent for Connecticut. And there was a system going through for, called Americast, for putting in fiber optics. And we were bought over by SBC, and I can have a great discussion with people on where they stop, and Fidium just did.
Yep.
So the whole area that I'm in and a big section of town is not covered. And a lot of those big sections of towns are areas where businesses are located, and it's not covered. You want those businesses to come in, you don't put in your infrastructure, they will not leave.
So let's the question, let's go to everybody, the question, what would you do as a council member to help promote more advanced internet services, fiber, whatever it might be? Ralph, let's start with you.
Well, I think that let me talk about the processes of government here. We need information. We need to understand what exists, what the problems are, what the opportunities are. I don't know what those are at the present time in this location. But the town council certainly can put together a town committee or assign the task to an existing committee to take a look at that, to research it, and bring back good information for decision-making by the council. So I'm answering the question by a process, and I would call upon this citizen particularly to be on that committee.
I wouldn't mind, but you were in Brooksville, and my brother's in Brooksville, and he has video. And his area is much less developed than here, and has much less business opportunity than here. So somebody in Brooksville
Yes,
is a little smarter.
as you may know, I used to live in
I
Brooklyn.
do, I read it. So I'm directly
I know who the people are that push very hard.
Well, would you all agree, rather than, I can go, anybody else want to chime in, otherwise go ahead, Terry.
Oh, no, I was saying if you wanted, no, every place needs great infrastructure, so I mean, she's right, businesses
I think at one point, it was part of one of our strategic plans, or one of those blueprints that we had at one point in time, but to Ralph's point, maybe part of the answer to this is a committee working together with people, getting information and reaching out to those that have knowledge on it. I think we all agree. Maybe two more questions. I'm on my last audience, and I've got one after that. If we're doing pretty well on time, everybody good with that? How would you support diversity, equity, and inclusion in Bucksport? Please give an example. And let's start with Steve.
All right. I love everybody in this town. They're awesome people, and I love diversity. And I love every type of person right there in my family member. We need to bring more pride festivals back. We need to bring as much love and diversity into this town.
Thank you. Ed?
To me, it's always been simple. You just treat everyone good and treat everyone how you want to be treated. To me, it's a very simple thing to me. I know in the big scheme, it's become very complicated, but to me, it's very simple. It's just treat everybody how you want to be treated.
Terry?
Same, as far as working, I think people should be hired based on their skill and not other things.
Thank you. Ralph?
Well, this is an important aspect of Bucksport as a caring community, and as a caring community, it's important that we especially teach our young people the value of having a variety of people with a variety of situations. That's healthy. It's healthy and it helps the community thrive. So I would look to making sure that the programming in the schools is encouraging in that direction.
Thank you. I have two more questions, sorry.
Oh, okay.
How do you plan to support our police, fire, and emergency services? Are there any areas that you would like to improve, or otherwise, how do you plan to support our services as they are now? Stephen?
I absolutely adore the public safety here in town. Some of them I went to school with, some of them I grew up with. We need to support them as much as we can. Every time that they do a training session, every time they get a new bit of technology, we need to support them because that's the best tool to help them do their job.
Ed?
We need to continue doing what we've been doing. Since I've been on council, we've seen a lot of changes, and the police, we've gone to different schedule. I think this is the second or third different schedule since the past 6 years, second. And now we're at a very good schedule that works, that attracts people. We're at a pay that is in the middle, not high middle, but middle, but it attracts good people and it keeps them here, so we don't have the rotation like we did. And we have great officers, we have great leadership, two of them standing right over there. Our fire and EMS, same thing, we're on a good schedule. We've got good pay, good rotation, good staff. We've gotten them the equipment. We went from the 2-wheel drive vans in this rural area, don't work usually, to 4-wheel drives, pickups, and the ambulance. I think we've given them all the tools that they need. Of course, they don't have everything they want and probably don't have everything they need, but from where we were when I started 6 years ago, and probably you could have said the same thing when you started 10 years before that it's leaps and bounds, and we just need to continue supporting them in that fashion.
Thank you. Carrie?
I 100% support public safety. It's almost a thankless job. They're always getting hits and they
they do because it's their job and want to take care of us.
Thank you. Well,
Yes, the Public Safety Department is another one of the gems of the town. I mentioned education, the school system, but the public safety, the police and fire departments are professional and are available and respond quickly, and that's a real asset for the town.
thank you.
Robert,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to, David Key, I'd like to encourage people to run for town council. The more variety you get, I think the stronger the council is. And when you're on the council, you get a much different view sometimes of what's the best direction to go and so on. So don't just sit back and gripe, that's the easy part. Get in there and make some changes. Get in there and add your good ideas to the pot. Don't sit back, be a believer, be a person that is one of the people that helps make the changes.
Thank you, David. Last question from us. What personal quality or qualities do you bring that you think will help you be an effective council member for the town? What do you hope to leave behind at the end of your term? Let's go with Steve.
Well, I'm the guy that walks around town, always willing to help somebody out. I'm always willing to, if someone needs help carrying their groceries, I think that my personality speaks for itself. And at the end of the term, I just want to be known as the guy that cares about his town. I want to see it thrive and prosper.
Thank you. Karen?
I particularly like doing the events because people like having something to do. And it's a lot of hours, it's a lot of stress, but I enjoy it and it makes, people happy and they're glad that I do it, so I'll continue.
Thank you.
Big thing for me is I keep an open mind. So many times we've had discussions and I'll get information and I've got my mind made up and then the next day I'll get some more information. Now my mind's made up the other way and this will go back and forth. And eventually common sense kicks in, we'll figure it out and we'll go forward. But I think I've made an impact in the past 6 years, and quite honestly, this time I was debating, do I want to run again? For the glory, I guess. But I went back and forth. Do I want to run again, or I just want to let somebody else go, because it's been 6 years. But I want one more term to make sure everything we've worked so hard for, and a lot of you may not see it, but we've worked hard to keep the town as nice as it is. And if you really want to take a look at the big picture here, we have a great town. We've got a beautiful waterfront, great trails, great police department, great fire department, great school system, great town office, beautiful Main Street. We have a beautiful infrastructure, we just need to take care of it. And I'm hoping that's my quality, is I've helped build that. And I want to continue to see a lot of these things through.
Thank you. Rob?
Yes, well, I'm good with numbers, I'm good with data analysis. I hope to bring that to bear. And I have the experience, so much of it, knowing how to relate to everyone, knowing how to keep everyone's interests in mind, and how to communicate and do so politely, civilly, and with a certain amount of joy.
Thank you. Well, any last questions from the audience? If not, I'd like to thank you all for coming here tonight. David said, thank you also for being willing to step up those of you that have served already, those of you who want to serve, thank you very much for putting yourself out there and being willing to take on this challenge. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, this is, we'll take like a couple minutes, and then if the school board candidates will come up.
I was so nervous.
We'll go ahead and get ready. If you make your way back to your seats. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Is my voice loud enough? Well, welcome to our RSU 25 school board candidates. We have Emily Fitzgerald and Keith Nealon as candidates for one position. I think we'll go ahead and start the same way we did with the council candidates. Emily, if you can start, just a quick who you are, why you're running, and what you want to accomplish.
I'm Emily. I moved here with my husband 5 years ago. He grew up here, but we decided, you know what, Bucksport is the place to be with the school system, the recreation, and small town. So I run a little nonprofit in town. We do some events. We help with community information. A little newsletter that comes out that has some news, all the events in town, a little council corner, and resources. I have 6 kids, and 3 of them have graduated from the Bucksport School District, and 3 of them are still in.
Thank you. Keith?
Hi, I'm Keith Nealand. I've served 1 term on the school board so far. I just got elected 3 years ago for the first time. I'm up for re-election again. I have 2 kids, 1 in 6th grade, 1 in 3rd grade, so very involved, obviously, in the goings on in the school, and you know, want to provide the best possible situation for my children and all the other children. My wife and I moved to Bucksport 11 years ago, and been here ever since. And I just want to keep up the good work that we've been doing on the school board, and continue on for another 3 years, hopefully.
Thank you. First question, and we'll start with Emily on this one. What thoughts, strategies, ideas do you have that would support, that would help improve academic outcomes for all students?
Can you repeat the beginning?
Yeah, what strategies, thoughts, or ideas do you have that would help improve the academic outcomes for all students?
Part of having 6 kids is a lot of different personalities and a lot of different needs. I have children who have IEPs. I have children who are in the gifted programs. I have children who needed the Reach School instead of Bucksport High School. So I have that experience in many different needs.
Thank you. Keith?
Along those same lines, differentiated instruction and learning are very important. Having all kinds of different avenues for kids. HTC is great. It's the, you know, kids who have carpentry. Bucksport High School actually hosts the welding program for that school. So all the welding kids from around come to Bucksport and use our facilities for that program. Making sure the curriculum is, you know, has differentiated learning for each, you know, type of learner in each subject matter. Making sure that, you know, all kids are addressed, whether they have special needs or they're gifted. And we think we've done a good job in making sure that all kids are reached and educated to the highest possible scenario.
From your perspective, we'll start with you, Keith, on this one. What do you see as the biggest challenges right now affecting RSU 25 schools?
The state. They're mandating a lot of things on us and not funding any of them. There's the new law that passed that now 3-year-olds have to be educated. That's coming. They are mandating teacher salaries that we have no choice but to meet. There's a state minimum for teacher salaries and for educational technicians. They're not pitching in any of it. They're saying you have to meet this number by this date, figure it out. So they're putting a lot of undue financial burden on us, and obviously which trickles down to the town on things that we're forced to do that we may not, like, you know, educating a 3-year-old. It's not something we would have, you know, come up with on our own as an undue burden to the town, but it's something that's being forced upon the schools because of state law.
Emily, thank you.
I think one thing on everybody's mind is the budget and how much the school budget affects town taxes. And I feel like we can be creative. I feel like we can meet the needs, like paying our teachers appropriately. We can keep these programs that help our kids thrive. We can be creative and not just put things to a chopping block. We can make sure that this system that we've built stays protected, and we can even add to it without having to increase our budget.
Thank you. Along the lines of budget, how will you advocate for competitive compensation, professional development for educators? Back to you.
You repeat that one more time.
Yeah, how would you advocate for competitive compensation and professional development for educators? We heard Councilor Rankin talked about how we've boosted or increased the public service employees, the police, fire, to the median, made that more competitive, made our folks more competitive in that area? How would you do that for the educators in RSU 25?
I think again, on that being creative, our teachers are not paid enough. They do a job that none of us want to do, and they get paid very little for it, and I feel like we owe it to them to figure out how to protect our wallets and theirs.
I was actually part of the last contract negotiations with the teachers. We gave them a nearly $500,000 overall increase to their pay, which was obviously spread out over different, pay scales and experience-wise. But we gave them nearly $500,000 increase. Now, currently, as of this last contract that we just passed with them, if you take this, some of the surrounding towns, roughly our size, Ellsworth, Orrington, Hamden, Sumner, Belfast, Orono, just as somewhat close towns that are a similar size of ours, our teachers are now in the middle of the pack for those. So we're trying to stay competitive, to keep the teachers here by offering them as much money as, obviously we'd like to give them all $1 million. Like, they all deserve it. We know that's the case because they have a thankless job, and that each year their job is getting harder. But I worked with the teachers union on the last contract to make them as competitive as possible with the neighboring towns. Also, part of the teacher salaries that isn't quite taken into account with the numbers is the fact that we pay 80% of their health care costs. And the school board, along with the school department, incurred a 13.75% increase in every single employee's health care. And, we try to compensate them as much monetarily as we can, but we also cover 80% of their health care costs, which is a substantial, contribution to cover a 13% increase when they only have to account for 20% of it. It's still more than it should be, but we're making great strides in keeping our teachers competitively paid as best we can.
Thank you. Question from the audience. What can be done to make our LGBTQ students feel safe in our schools?
We have, every student should feel safe. We have a welcoming culture in our schools. We're not, we don't discriminate. There's everyone should be treated equal, is treated equal. If they're not, it's dealt with as a disciplinary issue, but every kid deserves respect, and all kids deserve to be treated well and feel safe while they're in school.
Thank you. Emma?
I think it's important to make sure that we understand that bullying for children like this is a real thing that is happening, and it gets talked a lot in town about how much this is happening to children. And I think we need to take a look and see what is happening here and protect these kids like we would protect any kids.
Okay, that was kind of a good segue. My next question was, how would you address bullying, mental health, and student well-being overall, the general population? You want to expand a little bit more on that? What do you do as a school board member to help in that area?
One thing I love about Bucksport schools is the relationship with the health center, that you can have a counselor come up to the school for your child to have counseling. And I think that is a really important program for mental health and for kids who are experiencing bullying. But there are some problems with that. And I know that the school is working to resolve these, and some of that work needs to come from the health center as well. But we need to do everything we can to help boost programs like that.
Thank you. Keith?
Absolutely, that's a very important program, our counseling partnership with the health center, but as Emily stated, they have their own struggles with staffing and all that stuff, so we're trying to look at out-of-district counselors that can be used. We have the school counselors, trying to utilize them as much as possible. Each school has a strict anti-bullying policy. It's not tolerated. Unfortunately, it happens. It's happened to my kids. It's a very unfortunate part, but it's when administration and teachers are told, it's taken seriously. Action is being taken against kids that do it. It's taken very seriously by the school board, by the administrations in each building, and by the teachers. Like, we want to create a safe and welcoming environment for all children, and we work to eliminate it, but bullying is unfortunately, it happens, even as much as we don't want it, but we do take it seriously when it does happen, and we work very hard to correct the behavior and make every kid feel safe when they're in school.
What are your thoughts on, and what would you do as a board member, school board member, on expanding access to advanced coursework, career, technical education, the arts? We know there's technical education is something that I think is really becoming part of more of a key part of the education system now as well. Are there any things that we can do, or you can do as board member to help advance that? Keith, let's start with you.
Support the HTCT program as much as possible. It's a great program. They're always expanding programs, and we send as many kids as we can to support as many programs as we can. Like I said, the welding is in our own building. We just added, I believe it was 4 more welding terminals so that we could accommodate more children throughout the area. So we're investing in the programs that we have here in Bucksport, and we're also encouraging other programs to be developed. There's just a carpentry area opened up in Sumner, and we have kids going to that. It's a huge importance for kids that may not take the traditional education, but it's creating great jobs, and we're producing a lot of kids from our school district into those fields.
I'll echo how important HCTC is. And as part of your question, you're talking about advanced and technical as well. And I feel like we could really use some more AP classes and options. I have a kiddo who is very advanced and is very interested in coding. He kind of campaigned in his school to get different computers so he could actually do coding, because the Chromebooks cannot do that. And I think promoting things like that is very important, perhaps in the high school as well. So you can have kids who are interested in this being able to do it. A lot of the AP courses are self-taught. And I think that we can do more to boost those programs.
Thank you.
There are computer languages that can be done totally online on the cloud. You can do it online. It's not as easy as you think. I know, because that's what I taught.
Thank you.
At the AP level.
Given that voting is the language, this is an audience question, given that voting is the language of American democracy, and given that the ability to participate in civic life, to have a voice in choosing the elected officials whose decisions impact our lives, families, and communities is at the core of what it means to be American, would you be willing to ask the high school principal to assure that there would be a student voter registration event at the school this spring? Apparently it has to go through the school board to do this. It could be coordinated through the nonpartisan League of Women Voters and ideally run by the students. So a nonpartisan, just a student voter registration event to get more kids involved with our democracy and registering to vote. Keith?
It's a wonderful idea. I would totally support getting kids signed up and involved in voting so that they can all vote in November. Well, not this November, but and the following election. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I don't know the particulars of who has to approve it, but if that came before me as something that needed to be approved, I would certainly approve that and allow kids to get signed up and registered to vote, because I think it's important that everybody vote in every election, and that kids get as involved in their civic, responsibilities like the question stated. So, yeah, I totally support that. I'm not sure how it goes about getting formed and who has to approve it, but it certainly should be something that goes forward.
Thank you. Emily?
Absolutely, it's really important to get young kids interested in voting and give them access to voting. It's very hard to go and vote when you're at school all day, and perhaps you have sports afterwards. If you had an opportunity in the middle of the day to go vote, that could make such a huge difference. But I also would love to see mock elections in schools. I had mock elections as a kid, and I think that that's a very important part of getting kids excited about voting.
Thank you. How would you ensure transparency and community input in budget decisions?
There seems to be a disconnect between people and the district. The district is sending out this packet every single year with the school budget, but so many people don't realize that they're being sent that packet. And even if they do, they don't read it. And I don't know what the solution is there to help bridge that gap, but there needs to be more communication somehow, because that communication is being sent, but somehow it's not being received.
Yeah, I mean, there should be more communication, and there's very, very low attendance at that district budget meeting every year. It's unfortunate. We try to get we send out the whole budget with an explanation of what the increases are and stuff. Every budget meeting is open to the public throughout the months leading up to it. We put that communication out there, and there's little to no community attendance at those budget meetings, but I mean, we try to communicate that. We put it out on the platforms that we have. We send out the mailings. I would encourage everyone that's here to come to every budget meeting that we have next year. Ask the questions, see where the money's going. You get the breakdowns of where everything's going. It's very important. We want the public's input, and it's very important. So yeah, everyone that's here, come to the next one. We starting up soon.
Are those televised, like the council?
No, we could put those on YouTube. I could bring up the idea of putting those on YouTube, like all the school board meetings are. And that might drive some involvement. It's a good idea.
What do you see as the board's role in setting long-term vision for the district? What role does the board play in that? Let's start with Keith.
Sure. I think we should be the driving factor in setting our strategic plan for the district as to where we want to go in 5-10 years, what our goals are for improving the education and the facilities for these kids to be a part of. We should be the driving factor in helping to set what that path forward looks like. And we set up strategic plans for the district, we approve those, we make sure that the superintendent, the administration are following through on those to show that we continue to grow and provide the best possible education for our children despite the changing times.
The responsibility of that does lie on the school board. And I think part of that responsibility is supporting the principals. The principals, right now, the principal of the high school is working on, can you remind me the name, the presentation,
NIASC.
NIASC,
Yes.
yes.
Yep.
This can be a really great asset and part of making Bucksport look greater to other people. So the certifications of your schools are important and make you look better. And I think supporting these efforts of the principal by the school board is important.
Thank you. Last question from the audience that I had, where do you stand on gender issues in school? And there were 4 bullets. Keeping secrets from parents, shared bathrooms, girls, boys, and locker room pronouns. What are your thoughts about that?
I think there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of assumptions about what's going on in schools. There's a lot of rumors that hit the news. A parent may claim this thing happened, and oftentimes it didn't actually happen. There are rumors, one rumor that goes around Bucksport a lot is that there are kids that believe they are cats and there are litter boxes in the bathrooms. This is not true, it's never been true, but oh boy, does that rumor circulate a lot.
Not just you.
These,
Yeah,
the schools aren't keeping secrets about your children. And I would encourage parents to communicate with their children on these issues. If you feel like your child is hiding something from you, communicate with them and offer them love and support. But I don't think that our district is hiding secrets from parents about how our children feel, how our children identify.
Thank you. Keith?
I agree with that, and I also encourage any parent that has any concerns about how the school might be handling a gender issue or something to start with the building principal of where those children are, and then have them look into the situation, and then it can obviously be escalated to the superintendent and finally to the school board, and make us aware of what's going on. We'd be happy to address any issue that came forward for our children.
It's a great segue into one of my last couple questions was what steps can you take to engage families, especially those who have historically felt unheard by the schools, or at least they perceive that they're not being heard. Are there any things, in addition to what you just mentioned, that could be done proactively to help encourage people to reach out? I'll go back to you.
Every single school board meeting, we open with a public comment section. We would be happy we may not be able to address your issue at that point, but you can certainly come and feel heard. We will listen to anything that somebody has to say. There are some policy things that you can only talk for 3 minutes, but it never really comes to that. But I would encourage everyone to come. If you're not feeling heard, come and make a public statement in front of all of us. We're there, all 8 board members and the superintendent are sitting right there and are welcoming any kind of public comment or concern if you're not feeling heard. It may not be able to be addressed right then at that comment, but it can certainly be well known, and questions can be asked, resolutions can be made from that comment. And like I said, I already said that, talking to the people, escalating it, all of our contact information is on the RSU 25 website for all the board members. We'd be happy to talk to you at any time. We have emails, phone numbers. Call us if you feel like you're not being heard. We'll listen.
Thank you. Emily?
I'll echo go to the school board meetings. They are grossly underattended. Same with town council meetings. Go be involved. Don't be nervous about speaking up. You have a voice to be heard. In addition, there's a hierarchy in the school, and I think that sometimes people miss out on how many options they have to communicate. You have counselors, you have principals, you have vice principals, you have teachers, you have the school board, you have the superintendent, you have a lot of options. But I also want to point out, recently, in the past few years, these surveys have been going out for each school for the parents to fill them out. If you're nervous about communicating with the school, this is a great way to do it because it's anonymous. So you can reach out and express your concerns and opinions anonymously.
Thank you. So I'm going to end with a couple questions, as I asked the counselors. How would you measure success during your term? I'll start with you, Emily. You've been a member already for a while, but how would you measure success at the end of your term if elected? And what legacy do you hope to leave behind as a school board?
I think that even making a small change is a big success. It is very hard in bureaucratic systems to make a change. If you've made at least one small impact, I think you've done a great job.
Thank you. Adam? I know somebody named Adam Neal, and I don't know where it comes from.
Can you just
Yeah,
rephrase that?
how would you measure success at the end of your term? And what kind of legacy would you like to leave behind as a school board?
I'd love to leave a legacy of every kid has perfect attendance and 100% of the kids graduate. That would be a wonderful legacy. That's what we all strive for, is the best possible education for every single student and them succeeding in every single way. I fight for that, I work for that, I advocate for that, for whatever is best for the students. I feel like the parents elect me, but I work for the students. That's how I feel. That's what I do. It's all about the kids. It's what's best for them. It's how can they succeed. What can I do as a board member to help every single kid get the best possible education and experience while they're in the Bucksport schools. Has been my legacy for 3 years, and that's what I hope my legacy is as long as I'm on the board.
Thank you. How about a round of applause? Again, thank you both. Thank you for having run and been on the board to this point. Thank you for stepping up and running Emily. And thank you all for coming tonight. Social cookies and drinks.